You know, folks, is a wacky, wacky business. We're just catching up on some of the characters in the business, and it just changes constantly. But one thing that doesn't change here, Ed.
Me.
Yeah, well.
And the great values of the Wine of the Month Club.
You know, that's really, but if Ed doesn't change, then change is good. Then what does that mean?
Ed is not good. Guilty as charged. Pour a wine in the
Can we do the Reds? Okay.
Yeah, just whatever's on the list.
Bordeaux.
Yeah.
I love doing Bordeaux's.
I know, it's about time.
We don't see enough, but we've seen a lot lately. Now, the Euro. What happened to the Euro?
Isn't that interesting? Well, no. The Euro is still pretty strong. Last time I checked, it was like 130, 131. But what's interesting is they are lowering their price in euros because guess what? They got a lot of wine to sell.
Yep. This is a 2010, and I think this is a great example of Bordeaux. And I love the
great
classic
vintage.
I love the old school labels.
Yeah, I do too.
This is predominantly Merlot.
This is amazing wine. I mean, I was blown away by this wine. This wine was really, really something. $24.99 on the shelf. The reorder price is $14.99. And
wow,
it still tastes like Bordeaux.
But you know what? It just keeps going and going. The layers of this wine. I don't know who sold it to his Eurofin. Who's it?
This was the most difficult wine to write about because there is nothing on this wine.
Chateau. It has to be
Verrier. Le Verrier. There's the owner is Bernard something or another. You do a search on him. You do a search on the wine. You can't find anything about them. He also owns some other property in Bordeaux, and you can't find out anything about that. It was the most bizarre situation. I mean, and yet the wine is spectacular.
And with French law, wine law, if you want to put Chateau on there, it has to be a Chateau. You put Domaine, there has to be a Domaine. You can't call it Chateau Ed, and then not have a place. Of course, your Chateau's in Torrance.
My Chateau is in Torrance,
right.
yeah, and
Chateau
I
190th?
And I had the sense of being to not call it Chateau Ed, by the way.
Right. But it does have to be a physical location, so I'm surprised that you can't find data on it. But
well, they're almost every single one of those is almost chateaus. There's very few Bordeaux negociants.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, I mean, they are chateaus. That's why it's a very organized system in Bordeaux, much more so than any place else in France.
You know, it's kind of got a hint of old world, but you got some fruit from the new world.
God,
sort of a bridge.
Got a little mintiness to it. It's
95
really,
for me.
yeah, I'm going to say 96. I thought it was delicious. I mean, you can't. First of all, for $15, there's no way you can get Bordeaux for that kind of money.
No, that's true. $24.99 on the shelf for. I didn't even think of that. $15 for 2010 Bordeaux. That's unbelievable. Now this we tasted at, and I've been dying to do an Alexander Valley wine. Alexander Valley vineyards in Alexander Valley. But they've just been too pricey. All these years, they're just always too pricey. And they decided that they want Wine Month Club to show their wine. It sells for $21.97 on the shelf. You can get more for $14.99. But I just...
Well, you know, I mean, Hank
Hank
was a neighbor of your dad's in Palos Verdes, for crying out loud.
That's right, he was, yeah.
You know, he was a president of a big aerospace company in the 50s and 60s. You know, his daughter, Katie, an absolute doll, one of my favorite people in the wine business.
Wow.
Used to call on me in Bristol. Delicious.
Really? Okay. They're at black pepper. I don't really get that, but I do get that orange peel and wonderful raspberries and blueberries.
Well, that, 2009 was a great vintage and really, really good stuff. I mean, God, that finish just keeps going on, you know? You get that strawberry all the way back.
It keeps coming.
Man, that's a killer bottle of wine
That's a
for
96
$15.
for me.
Yeah, I got to go 96, 97.
That's so good.
Jeez,
I forgot. I've not tasted that since I bought it.
Which
was a while ago.
Something. I think I'm going to have to get some of that myself, actually.
All right.
All right, what?
I'll sell it to you for 1.1 times the retail value.
Wow. You know what are friends for if you can't hose them over? And this is the king of hosing over.
Let's do the Sauvignon Blanc because this one's demi-sec. Now I love this story, and I've never seen these guys. I've heard of them. They go out and they shop wines that have had a 90+ rating. Okay, so what'd you do? You give it an 89?
Of course.
So, and they buy wines from all over the world, from all over the country, and they bottle them with this lot number. So this is lot number 2. And you can always reference that lot number. So the next Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand won't be lot number 2, it'll be something else. I just thought their wines were really
well, we've done some of their wines in the past, too.
We did one already?
I think so, yeah, because I remember writing about them, and it was a really interesting story. And I mean, they obviously have some money behind them because they pay in advance sometimes to get the wines.
This one, the reason I bought this, now that I taste it, Marlborough, New Zealand's in. Of course, everybody's had New Zealand Sauvignon Blancs.
Wow.
But sometimes the grapefruit comes at you too much, and sometimes it's too acidic. This has a little richness to it.
Oh, this got some really good richness. Marlborough is a very cool climate area, and Sauvignon Blanc doesn't like real cool climate, and some of those things can be so grassy and so peaty that I kind of recoil with them. This is really bright.
The flavors are amazing.
Yeah, they've got really, really nice flavors.
I give it a 90 plus.
Wow. Go along with the program, would you?
I give it a 95.
I'm going to do a 94 on this. I think it's delicious.
I think it's really good.
It has all the components of New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, but it doesn't come up and rip your face off.
Exactly. That's exactly right. If we didn't say this already, it's $21.99 on the shelf, and it's $14.99 for more, or $13.99 for more, which.
Do I hear $12.99 for more? Do I hear $12.99 going once?
I'm just not a good businessman. Now, Vouvray.
One of my favorite areas in the world.
I love it. And this one's demi-sec, which means it's off dry, so there's a little bit of sugar in it, but wonderful supplier. Cute French couple that brings in their brands that they source out of different parts of France. And I just fell in love with this wine, despite the woman's accent.
Well, she wasn't crazy about yours either.
I don't have to worry about that either because Sandra doesn't watch these videos. She sees me enough. 100% Chenin Blanc. Vouvray is a wonderful town, a great place to visit. We stayed there in a chateau and just had a really wonderful time.
Boy, you wouldn't think there was any sugar in this sucker. This comes off pretty dry, even though it's called a demi-sec. But it's kind of chewy. I mean, it's got so much viscosity to it. Look at the legs on this thing. I mean, it takes
funny,
its
the nose
time.
is quieter than I remember it. Almost tastes like a wood nose, but
No,
but boy, in your mouth, it sure has mouthfeel.
Yeah, that's delicious. Absolutely stunning. These wines are so fun. I mean, they are so unlike Chenin Blanc anywhere else in the world. Nothing else compares to Vouvray.
Here's what happens, and there's a gentleman bringing in some Italian varietals, finally whites, that I just fell in love with the other day. But if you drink California Chardonnay, if you're drinking all the stuff on the shelf, and either you get the oaky ones or you get those bright stainless steel ones, but you get used to that pattern of wine taste flavors, and then you find stuff like this.
Well,
That's totally off the charts.
It's like night and day.
Yeah, it's totally different. It makes you really appreciate the winemaking and the terroir, the area that they come from, because it screams Vouvray. This is a 97 for me. I think it's great.
Okay, fine.
Is that the end of the story?
Well, yeah, it sounds like the end of the story to me. What do you think? Yeah, 97. I'm going with it.
Hey, that's the limited series for June 2013.
Oh, my God.
Thanks for coming, Ed.
No, my pleasure. That was a really good lineup. That was a really good lineup.